Continuum offers great tools for beauty work, color correction and relighting. But isolating these effects to the faces of our talents has always been time-consuming and laborious. This is about to change with FaceML. Both as a standalone filter as well as an option inside of PixelChooser, this machine learning powered face segmentation will streamline your workflow and save you tons of time. I'm Christoph Zaplatal for Boris Effects, and today we are going to explore FaceML inside of Continuum. Our first example will take us right into beauty work. The talent looks great, but has got a very mixed skin complexion. So let's apply Continuum's Beauty Studio to our clip inside of Adobe Premiere. Let's jump straight into the FX editor so that we can choose a good preset to start with. To better judge what is happening, I'm going to set up a before-after view by pressing the A-B button, change it into a split, and adjust the slider so that I can really judge the original on the screen left side of the face and the retouched version on the screen right side. The commercial sheen preset looks good, but still leaves me too much of the red spots in her skin. So let's try intense smoothing instead. This looks like a good base, but we are losing a lot of detail on the lips and eyes. We are going to deal with that in a minute. Before, I just want to see whether we can tweak the preset just a bit more to fit this scene. Open up the color mat and adjust the two colors with the picker. You want to pick a bright and a dark patch of skin so that we get a good luma key. Switch the A view to the color mat. That way you can see the mat representing the areas where our Beauty Studio filter will take effect. We can also switch to the combined overlay. And we see a couple of problems with this. The lips get somewhat isolated, but the eyes are fully affected by our filter. Traditionally, we could have used Mocha inside of PixelChooser to isolate just the face. But now let's bring in FaceML. Open the FaceML panel here and enable it. The machine learning model will load into the graphics card, and once finished, the overlay will change. By default, the model will just select the skin, so this is just what we need. Collapse the smoothing parameters, that way we get a little bit more screen real estate. We can see that Beauty Studio is already combining our color mat and our FaceML mat, but if you want to see them individually, go up to the viewer section and there you can take a look at them one by one. Go to the combined mat and open up the mat tools inside the FaceML parameters. Feather the mat up a bit and adjust the feather bias so that we make sure that we do not affect the eyes too much. These controls only affect the machine learning part of your mat, so if you want to tweak the color mat, just go up here and adjust the values to your liking. I would suggest we bring down the luma softness to half and also bring down the gamma quite a bit to preserve the darker areas of the skin. Just helps to avoid the China doll look on her face. Before we leave the FX editor, check out the other presets. We recently added a couple of great ones there. And here's a special tip for you. If the preset name includes a word like face, lips or eyes, then FaceML will already be activated in that preset, cutting down your setup time even more. Now FaceML already saved us loads of time with us not having to roto or track shapes in here. But let me show you where the machine learning side of things comes in really handy. This is not the only instance of that talent in my sequence. I also have this shot of her, together with another talent. So let's just copy our Beauty Studio effect to the clipboard and apply it to the second shot. Boom, done. The best thing about this is that I don't need to do anything special to create that second face mask. As long as there are faces inside the image, FaceML will detect them. There's just one problem. FaceML is identifying both faces. But we only want the effect to be on her, not him. So what do? Instead of going back to the FX editor, I'm going to open up Mocha Mask inside of PixelChooser. I will draw up a quick circle around her and track that forwards and backwards. Once the track is done, I will quickly drop down a couple of keyframes. These can be really fast and loose, as FaceML is already applied and this mask is really just meant to separate one face from the other. And that way, once we leave Mocha Mask, that gets combined with the color mat and the FaceML mat we previously set up on the first shot, and now we've got a perfectly treated skin for her and the original rough look for him. Having FaceML inside of Beauty Studio is a great addition for digital skin work. But how about the other effects? Let's take a look at this shot of 3 kids. Lovely image, but the middle kit doesn't get too much sunlight. So let's apply a BCC plus grade and brighten them up. Before we adjust any values, let's activate PixelChooser and switch on View Mask Matte for now. If we move down, we see a subcategory for FaceML. Once we activate it, the machine learning model will load into the graphics card. Unlike with FaceML inside of Beauty Studio, the default selection is All, so that means it'll also apply to the eyes, the mouth, etc. For something like this, where we don't do too much detail work, but want to just broadly constrain a color correction, that is perfect. Like before, I'm going to isolate his face with the Mocha mask and track that in there. One huge advantage of Mocha masks is that the shape data is independent of your tracking data. So once this track is done, I'm able to quickly pick up any of these points and tangents to modify this mask. And I can be really rough with this as well, as FaceML is already doing the bulk work for us. Once our track is done, I can add some blur to both the FaceML and the Mocha mask to have a smoother fall-off. And finally, I can make his face a bit more prominent by increasing both brightness and contrast. As FaceML is part of PixelChooser, virtually any BCC Plus effect that has got PixelChooser will also offer you the possibility to use FaceML as an element of your PixelChooser matte. So you can combine it with a Mocha mask like I just did, or you can use gradients or internal or external mattes. There is some huge potential here for sure. But apart from that, FaceML also comes as its own standalone plugin. So in our next example, let's explore how to use it in combination with some other Continuum effects for some relighting done directly inside of our Premiere timeline. In this example, I want to add a little bit more depth to the image. As the background is not really offering me much opportunity here, let's instead focus on the foreground. Specifically, I want to highlight her face by adding a kind of go-go light. So let's apply a BCC Plus light and select one of the cityscapes. Let's also bring down the brightness a bit and give it some subtle displacement. This looks interesting, but it is not really helping me with adding depth, as it is applied all over the image. So my first step in constraining this is to use PixelChooser and the built-in Depth Map ML to make sure I just catch the foreground elements of the image. Using the scaled mode, this already works better. But I want to constrain it to just the face without losing the fall-off the Depth Map ML is giving me here. Also, I find the gobo to be on the teeth and the eyes somewhat distracting. I could just combine this with a built-in FaceML like I did before, but it is worth thinking ahead here. Is this really the only effect I want to apply to the face? Not really. Actually, I also want to add some glow and some grading to just dial this in a bit more. The idea is to have two layers in our Premiere timeline. The base layer is just the original footage, and then we will have one layer atop that will contain all our effects, and of course be constrained by our FaceML matte. So in addition to the BCC Plus lights, I will also drop a BCC Plus glow and a BCC Plus grade in and adjust them to my liking. While these additional effects might seem rather subtle, they really help to bring it all together. And then, at the very end, I will apply the FaceML effect. When I drop that at the bottom of our effects list here, by default, it'll give us a green overlay. Let's configure this in the way we would like it to behave. I want it to not include everything, but rather the skin, plus the lips and the eyebrows. There we go. Now let's blur up the matte ever so slightly, and once we are happy, let's choose the proper blend mode for this. Let me quickly disable the clean layer below so that we can see what is going on. As I said, currently we are on overlay, which gives us this bright green. Let's choose multiply alpha instead, and boom, we are isolating our effect to just the skin plus the lips and the eyebrows. Let's switch on our base layer again so it doesn't look so ghastly. So instead of processing FaceML 3 times this way, I will only have to process this one instance. FaceML is really a great way to quickly isolate your effects to where they matter the most, the faces of your talents. So whether integrated into PixelChooser or as a standalone effect, there's a plethora of possibilities for this to streamline your workflow and let you get creative more quickly. I'm Christoph Zappletal for Boris Effects, and I will see you in another video.